So I'm playing through To the Moon right now, and my god this game is emotional. Try playing without crying, I dare you. I guarantee your eyes will definitely release some liquids, or maybe solids. If you play To the Moon, you'll get that. Who knows, maybe next week I'll play it while watching Your Lie in April, because honestly, I have nothing better to do. Seriously, if you're wondering why I haven't uploaded in over a month, it's because I've been pretty busy binging every episode of Sagwa the Chinese Siamese Cat. Yup, that's the reason. Definitely not because of the low ad rates in January. What am I, a scumbag? Anyway, because I apparently like to cry so much, let's look at the top 5 saddest Pokemon episodes. And let me stress something, these are the episodes that I thought were sad, not that you thought were sad. Well, I mean, you may have found them sad too, I hope you did, cause that's what I'm trying to explain. You know what, never mind. Emotions can be pretty subjective. Apparently some people actually find this scene heartbreaking and not unintentionally hilarious. I mean, after seeing that, something in me definitely broke alright. My faith in cinema. But let's get into it, here are the top 5 saddest Pokemon episodes. A showcase debut. This episode is starting off the list, as while it's undoubtedly very emotional, it does have a pretty uplifting ending. We watched Serena compete in her first Pokemon showcase. It's been 60 episodes, and the girl's finally about to put her newfound dream into motion. But this wasn't exactly like when May or Dawn would lose a contest, because not only did Serena lose, but she failed hard. Her showcase debut wound up being a humiliating performance in front of hundreds of people. We then watched Shauna absolutely sweep the floor, winning the showcase, as Serena simply watches. That night, Serena walks alone to the harbor, where she can't keep it in anymore, and begins to cry. And it's so emotional watching Fennekin and Pancham try to cheer her up. A kind of emotional that was pretty much ruined in the English dub due to the new background music, but I digress. Serena has a flashback of her journey up until this point, before cutting her hair and changing her overall appearance. At least this episode ends on a good note, with Serena regaining her determination to become Kalos Queen, but the pain and humiliation Serena has to go through in this episode definitely earns it a place on the list. Memories are made of bliss. First reason this episode always brings out tears? Nostalgia. There, I said it. You happy? But yeah, I grew up watching the Diamond and Pearl series, so seeing Dawn leave really hit me hard. Now at the time, I had watched a lot of older Pokemon episodes on DVDs or on Pokemon.com, so I knew Brock was always going to be part of the team. But alas, this episode would change that. The scene of Ash and Brock going their separate ways was really powerful, with the two wishing each other good luck on their dreams before saying goodbye one last time. It truly felt like the end of an era, and in a lot of ways, I think it was. Let me explain. Up until this point, Pokemon always felt like one big series. Sure, friends would come and go, but in the end, it felt like one continuous story, and each series would seamlessly flow into the next. But after the Diamond and Pearl series, the overall feel of the show kind of changed. Each series no longer felt like a direct continuation, rather they would do their own thing and create their own identities. Now, I definitely feel this was a good decision, as it kept the show from getting too stale, even if there were some growing pains at first. But I can't help but feel sad when I watch the ending of Diamond and Pearl, as I don't just feel like I'm watching the end of one series, but instead the end of a saga. The uncut story of Mewtwo's origin. Okay, I know this isn't technically a normal episode, it's a special that was part of the first movie in Japan, but screw it, this is my list, and this special made me cry. It acts as a prequel to the first movie, as it explores why Dr. Fuji began cloning in the first place. Now, this isn't the kind Mr. Fuji we all know from the games and Pokemon Origins. This version of the character is sort of a madman. After his young daughter Amber dies, Dr. Fuji dedicates his life to trying to bring her back. His wife even ends up leaving him as she fears what he has become. Not so long story short, Giovanni agrees to fund Fuji's cloning endeavors as long as he creates a clone of Mew. We then get to witness the early lives of Mewtwo, Amber 2, and the clones of the starters, who are all able to communicate with each other from their test tubes. They all become friends, but it's short-lived as the starters begin to fade away. Eventually, Amber 2 is also unable to survive, as she must say goodbye to Mewtwo. And seeing a young Mewtwo cry, there's really nothing quite the same. Amber 2 tells Mewtwo not to cry, as he is alive and life is wonderful, before permanently fading away. Man, if that rumored live-action Mewtwo movie is real, this better be a major part. One journey ends, another begins. The Sun and Moon series was divisive to say the least, and while I was initially let down by it, it definitely grew on me. However, even way back when I made my video criticizing the series, I still praised this episode for how it handled the concept of natural death. While we've seen death in Pokemon before, it was mainly due to sacrifices to help others, but this time, Stellan passes away simply from old age. This ends up putting Litten into a state of depression, with Ash making sure it eats and takes care of itself, but ultimately giving Litten space. And Meowth even ended up getting involved, wanting to help Litten cheer up. The two previously had a bit of a cat rivalry, so this sense of comfort was really heartwarming. Meowth even gives Ash a speech on how he shouldn't give up on Litten. And once Litten begins feeling better, Ash offers to finish what Celine started and help it master Fire Fang. And after a battle with Pikachu, Litten decides to join Ash's team. As the title suggests, grief isn't the end, rather, it can lead to a brand new story. Go west, young Meowth. What's with me finding episodes surrounding cats so emotional? Oh god, am I a furry? I mean, this episode is one of the strangest in the entire series. It involves our heroes going to Hollywood. Yeah. In the original version, Hollywood is just a town in Kanto, but the dub made sure to specify that it was none other than Hollywood, California. Because, 4 kids.
Protecting the planet from devastation. Fighting evil in all its forms. 5 girls with the license to kick butt.
They were invited to see the premiere of a movie, which gives me unsettling Rule 34 vibes in the most rundown part of the city. But that's not the focus of the episode. Rather, we get an in-depth look of Meowth's past. It was at one point a homeless and hungry stray who was constantly mistreated. Like, people attempted to lynch him. What the hell? Meowth decided to go west to Hollywood in hopes of a better life, where he joined up with a gang of other Meowth. They would steal food and ultimately be a nuisance to those around them. However, Meowth ends up wanting to impress a rich Meowth named Meowsy, so he decides to learn to be more like a human. We watch Meowth struggle to walk on 2 legs, and yes, learn to talk. And while this proved to be difficult at first, Meowth stuck with it and wouldn't give up. However, these endeavors proved worthless, as Meowsy deemed Meowth a freak. With his newfound skill, Meowth left Hollywood, hoping to one day make a name for himself. But this didn't really pan out. Back in the present, Meowth finds the old gang and learns that everything's gone downhill. Even Meowsy, who was once basically a Meowth princess, was now a poor stray. And while Meowth decides he has a new family now, being Team Rocket, he can't help but wonder if Meowsy is looking up at the same moon. This episode is really one you should watch for yourself, as seeing Meowth constantly struggle is so emotionally jarring. It also doesn't really have an ending. Meowth seems just as distraught at the end of the episode as he did at the beginning. And in my opinion, this is definitely one of the saddest Pokemon episodes. But yeah, I'd like to know what episodes made you cry. Something tells me I'll get a lot of Bye Bye Butterfree and Pikachu's goodbye. And hey, there's really a lot more sad episodes out there, so maybe I could revisit this topic in the future. But as always, thanks for watching, and I hope you have a heartwarming day.